Hi guys, it is Sunday morning and I am staying in. So honey took the boys to church and then he went to go get them and bring them back. And I just didn't think that I could sit up, okay, but not for very long. Then I kind of have to like lay back a bit because and recline just because it's uncomfortable. And I have the belly band on too, which helps a lot. So I am figuring out that I'm not getting a lot of the gas that's up in the back of the shoulder as much as other people do, but I'm getting it in my abdomen. And so it is very uncomfortable, and I'm trying to walk and move things along there. So TMI, I know, still have not, used the bathroom properly for the number two and waiting on that. So hopefully, maybe by the end of the day or tomorrow, I will be drinking Smooth Move tonight to see if that's going to help at all. But I know they really don't want you straining, so I'm scared to death about that. But I remember going through this when I had my C-section. That was like 34 years ago, right? And I had to use glycerin suppositories at that time, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to end up having to do that. But okay, lots of TMI there. But I know that if somebody's watching this hysterectomy series, they're going to want to know this stuff. So that's why I'm trying to be very open about this so that it will benefit whoever's really looking for this kind of information. So looking back, and I'm on day number 3, so I'm dealing with a little bit more of the pain because the narcotic is really leaving, the anesthesia is really leaving. So I'm just really sorry about the plane. So I'm really just depending on Tylenol and ibuprofen, and I'm kind of staggering those. And so I've got my clock set for another 6 hours, and then I'll take ibuprofen. Last one was Tylenol, 2 Tylenols. And so I'm trying to go at least like every 6 hours with a painkiller. And I was thinking, I told my hubby a couple of times I meant to, I know this sounds kind of funny, but to bake a cake. I was going to make myself like a cake to commemorate this other milestone in my life and say goodbye to my little organs that have been with me for over half a century. That's why I kind of wanted to commemorate it. So I didn't have, I know a lot of people have a lot of maybe when they're young, if they have to have a hysterectomy, maybe, there's a lot of emotions that can be involved because you're still at childbearing age, and a lot comes with that. And for me, I think that part of it was a lot easier because I'm pretty much done with that. I mean, I've gone through menopause, so I wasn't going to have any more babies naturally. So we went through our own story of a lot of hurt and heartache at one point. And so I understand, the emotionality of it too. But for me, I think it was easier, you know what I mean, now, because I've already been through losing that ability, I guess. Many years ago, now we had our eldest son is I had a C-section with him, so he's 34 now, and so I had him by natural birth, my honey and I, and then we thought we were going to just be professionals, right? We didn't think we were going to have any kids, and so honey had that taken care of when we were in the Air Force. He was in the Air Force, and so before he got out, he said, "Well, I'll go ahead and take care of that on my end, and then have a vasectomy." And I said, "Yeah, okay." Okay, I guess, I was really young, and I don't think that I really thought it through as much, and maybe I would have probably spoke up if I had thought about it more, but I didn't really think about it. So I was like, yeah, I guess that's a good idea. And so we did. But then years later, we did kind of want kids again. I know I did. I wanted to have another baby very badly, and I wanted our eldest son to have a sibling, at least one, right? And so when we came to Las Vegas, there was a very good surgeon here who did vasectomy reversals, and it was his specialty. He was doctor of the year, blah blah blah. So we said, okay, we set up an appointment with him, and he took care of my husband's reversal. So he said that it looked good, that it should work, but we needed to get started right away because I think we were both in our 40s, maybe early 40s, and he said you only have a limited amount of time that you can get pregnant and have babies. So we said, okay. We did try a lot. Now, I did not go through in vitro, fertilization or anything like that. We didn't do that. We just thought, okay, well, it's fixed. We should both be. I mean, my mom had 13 kids. I didn't think I would have a problem getting pregnant if I took after her. And so, try as we might, we tried for years and I could never get pregnant. And it never occurred to me that maybe the reason why I wasn't getting pregnant was probably because I had endometriosis, right? And so I was having issues with that and I didn't know it. And I probably should have sought out, more doctors who would be able to take care of that then, but I was just pretty naive and didn't really know how to go about that. And, time went by, and of course, I'm not getting pregnant, and, I have bouts of crying and grief because of that. And here I am getting older, and it seemed like everybody who I was talking to, they were getting pregnant. Like I would talk to them and they'd be pregnant like the next week, right? All my friends were. Then they weren't not even trying. And so that kind of like, as marvelous as it was and as wonderfully happy I was for them, there was also this salt in the wound thing happening, right? And so that was kind of hard to take because we were really trying hard. And other people were like, well, I don't know how it happened. I fell over a box in the living room and I ended up pregnant or something. Not like that, but you know what I mean? They weren't even trying. And I just didn't understand it. And I struggled with a lot of that kind of the lost feelings of not being able to, right? And all that. And I struggled in my prayers at that time too, because I didn't understand it. But I did know I wanted to trust God in his plan for my life. So years had gone by and I started to pray about adoption. And I didn't want it to be my idea, just my idea. I wanted it to come from my husband too, because I don't ever want him to go through something, a big life change like that, and then it be my decision and my choice and it wasn't his. So I kind of kept quiet about that. And so my prayers were that, a lot of planes today, sorry. So my prayer was that if it was indeed God's will that we should have more children, that he would touch my husband's heart and open up his understanding in that way. And so I prayed for almost 3 years and didn't tell my husband I was praying for that or anything. And then one day he said, I think we need to look at adoption. Why don't we look at adoption? And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I was so happy that he brought that up. And I said, okay, sure, that sounds great. I was totally on board. I was waiting for that. And I was so glad that he was the one that he actually brought it up. So we started going to classes and we went through adoption, and through the miracle of adoption, we have 3 more beautiful boys. And so I think, I love them so much. And I think that I shudder to think of, as much as it is beautiful having my own children from my own flesh, it's another whole other miracle to have adopted children come into your life and into your world. And they were all adopted as infants. And so, and they have their challenges. So each one of them is just, we've had to really get used to, another airplane, what their needs are, and work as a family, and it's just been beautiful. And I shudder to think that I never would have met them nor adopted them if we had our own children, then we wouldn't have our sons that we have now. And so, yes, it would be different and it would be beautiful, but I'm glad the way that it worked out. Obviously, God says in his words, his ways are not our ways, and we really can't understand it. And but I trust in him, and we have a beautiful family. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that. But I know it can be hard, saying goodbye to the having a closed door. You know what I mean? We don't think about another door opening when that door is closed very often, but usually there's another door that opens when one closes. So just gotta be on the lookout for that. Anyway, I never talked about that before, and I didn't know if anybody was interested in hearing it or not. But that's how we kind of came about, you know. So anyway, if you have any questions about it, I'd be glad to answer. All right, I'm going to let you go for now.